media. You were probably one of the biggest black Facebookers out there.
Yes.
I mean, the family, the pranks, the skits, just all around, just vlogger, being yourself.
Yes.
You built a brand, met your wife, then your wife, you was able to help her to leverage a brand.
Right.
Unfortunately, you had a little temporary halt in your brand because,
Yes.
you know, of some issues, but, you know, it was really sad. I think a lot of people were shocked because of the dynamic that you and your wife
Yes.
put out, Brianna. Okay. And so, and to see her upload and say that you know, she made all sorts of allegations,
Right.
said that you abused her, said that you were verbally abusive, you were
Right.
mentally abusive, you're all sorts physically abusive. You came out and said, based on the video that she had uploaded of her finger,
Right.
you know, being,
Right.
it looked like something she bought at CVS. I'm just saying personally, okay?
Yeah.
And I said that. I was just like, you know, especially after she gave her version of events.
Right.
And she did reach out to me, her and, which is your manager too, which was
Right.
weird.
Yes, that's how I seen the video where you were speaking of it, and it was like, I haven't talked to my manager since that upload of that video. I've been calling her, had no contact at all, never returned my calls, text messages and everything. So when you spoke, it was like, wow, this is crazy. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, yeah.
So I really don't understand, because a lot of that stuff, it definitely came out of nowhere. Like, the physical abuse stuff never happened. Obviously, I'm not that type of person.
Right.
So it's just, I don't know.
And if anybody asking why wasn't the police, look, the police was involved, but you obviously saw the call.
Right, you seen the call. Everybody saw the call.
Yeah. So,
us as men, obviously, we operate on logic.
yeah.
Women operate on emotions.
Yeah.
So that's what you seen was that. Like, all the dramatics and stuff, it's an emotional situation.
Yeah. This is your camera, by the way. So
That's my
if you
camera.
want to
Okay.
look direct and talk to the viewers,
Okay.
but
Thank you.
we kind of like to do the fly on the wall where you and I
Gotcha.
have a conversation and they listen in and stuff like that. So, but no, I'm going to tell you to be looking at that camera and dress like and letting them know. So
Okay.
yeah. But it was just unfortunate because there are children involved between you
Yeah.
and your wife. You had just moved into a new house.
Just moved in.
You just beat cancer, and now all these allegations are over your head, and every single blog is posting. And I remember my viewers, you know, tagging me like, hey, you're going to jump on this. So I believe one of my girls hit your wife in the DM. She responded, put us in contact with Sean, the manager. We've
Right.
worked with Sean before, with Melody Holt and Martell and a few other artists. And
Right.
so we already had that relationship. And when I got on the phone with Sean that's when everything was revealed to me, saying, hey, she's been abused and, she's very delicate because it's a sensitive issue.
Right.
We want it done like the Jessica Reed story. I don't know if you saw like, the Jessica Reed story on my platform, but she she came on my platform to tell her story about being violated by Charlemagne the God. And so
Oh, wow.
it was very dramatic. And, you know, they said that the reason they wanted to do it with me is because, and they wanted to jump on a call to tell me this, is because, you know, they wanted to help leverage her brand on YouTube, which means move her followers from Facebook over to YouTube.
Leverage. Like, that's why I said, like, just talking to my management, those are the words they use all the time.
Yeah.
And when you said it on the video, I was just like, wow. I mean, like I said, she never answered my call. To this day, I have not spoken to her.
Wow.
So it just seems like it was set up some type of way.
Yeah. And I mean, I kind of dialed back and I went back. I did like an impromptu live on my Bigo Live where I could go over there and just slide receipts and drag them for days by ponytails, you know. It's not so professional. And I basically just pointed out, I went back and looked at the timeline and was like, okay, so all of this happened between you and her about 2 months ago.
Right.
She relaunched the YouTube 3 months ago. It wasn't hitting. So she was doing content. It was only getting like 8,000 views. And so there was a plan concocted. And I know for a fact, this is no allegedly, between her and her management team to start drama. That you were honestly the innocent casualty of war.
Right.
And basically that's where the allegations came in of you abusing Brianna, your wife, and always been abusive for the entire 6 years that y'all were together. And
never.
Of course.
Never physically, and everybody has arguments. So when it comes to verbal, of course, if somebody's calling me out my name, I'm going to say something back.
Okay.
You feel me? So that's pretty much it. It ain't never been no physical stuff.
Yeah.
And anybody who's really watching, they can see that. My wife is she's dressed in bathing suits and she goes live every day. So if someone's being abused, they can't go live every day. They can't.
Like, where the bruises?
Right, arms out, back out, everything. You can't do that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And
well, I do want to point out, before we really unwind everything, she came out and basically apologized to you. And she changed her story. She said that you no longer like abused her physically. It was only emotional.
Right.
So you lied. So not only did you out her for lying about her being hit and abused and her finger being broken and stuff, and showing the behind the scenes of her calling the police, lying, saying that a black man has a gun and you're following her. Like, she knows what would happen if police were to show up at that house.
Right.
She yelling for her dad. Daddy don't even really show up probably till later. But, you spared her, and you tried to spare her for a long time.
I most definitely did. I put my family first, and like I said, I love my wife. I love my kids, and
you still love them.
I do. I still do. Like, you're supposed to, when you get married, it's for better or for worse, sickness and health. It's a lot of things that go into that. But 6 years, you can't be married to somebody for 6 years and not still have feelings. But it's a scary situation.
Yeah.
With that, like I said, the cops definitely could have came in on some other stuff. I'm a black man. So the odds is just God. God's with me. And I feel like I'm protected at all costs. And just even with this situation here, it's like some of the stuff that was even talked about in the video of the incident, Melody's name was mentioned before. You've been in an interview, you had interviews with her before. Same manager.
Melody Holt.
Like, it's crazy when you really look at that. So it's like, the truth is always going to come to the light. And that's what I've been saying from day one.
I mean, in this case, it's kind of like, when people get online and they start talking, and you listen, and then they keep talking, and then you listen, and then they keep talking, and it's like they tell one lie to cover up another lie, to shield another lie. And before you know it, this whole elaborate story, then you done forgot what the original lie was.
Right.
And that's kind of what it was in your case. And so I want to start from the beginning, because, you were receiving a lot of backlash too, because you spared her. Because you came out when the video came out and you said it was a prank.
Yes.
Because you guys have done pranks before.
And it happened right in Domestic Abuse Awareness Month. So as soon as that clip was posted, everybody was talking about it being Abuse Awareness Month. So I automatically was like, that's my way to save my family. Let me say Domestic Abuse Awareness Month. And she said it wasn't. So I honestly think that's the management's call.
Oh, it was strategic. Sean, listen, I have nothing against Sean. I think Sean runs a very good business, right? As far as representing a lot of these reality stars and stuff like that. But for her to call me as a black woman to say that they want to conjure up a plan to help leverage her brand on YouTube. And I'm thinking, but if she just got abused, why are we worried about building followers on YouTube?
Yeah,
and I'm just
shouldn't even be a thought of that.
And I spent about probably more time on the phone than I should have been with Sean, the manager, and just to hear that. And then when we offered to say, okay, well, let's bring her out here. Of course I'll fly her this way. I was like, but are you going to take care? Cause we didn't do what we, normally sometimes we don't even pay for lodging. We'll meet people halfway depending on, what the need is. But because they wanted our platform to help her to build a YouTube channel, I'm like, okay, well, you got to pay for the lodging. So we'll pay for the flights. And then that's when they came back and my assistant was saying, oh, they want Delta. They want this. They want that. I'm like, hold up. No, that's not what we agreed. Drop it. And Sean knows me because I've told Melody right there. And I'm like, what the fuck is she doing? She comes on here. She's an artist. She goes over to Dr. Heavenly's platform, spills whatever wine she want to spill, but she want to come over here and use me to sell a